It started as a simple plan, a visit to my husband's hometown to spend some time with his family, just a few weeks. That was the plan. My name is Alicia and I've been married to Daniel for 5 years. Now our marriage has been full of ups and downs, but we've always managed to find our way back to each other. Daniel is the only son of his parents, and every year I try to visit his folks in Georgia. I never really had a close relationship with my in-laws, especially my father-in-law. He always struck me as a bit odd. Was polite in public, very respectful, always cheerful, but something about his eyes made me uncomfortable. There was a stir that lingered longer than its hold, a comment that felt just a little too suggestive, but I brushed it off. Maybe I was just imagining things. This year Daniel couldn't come with me. Work got in the way, and I had already committed to the visit, so I packed my bags and made the trip alone from Thement. I arrived, I could feel Thatchuni's again. My mother-in-law, gracious as ever, welcomed me warmly. She always made me feel at home with her cooking and gentle conversation, but my father-in-law way, he hugged me when I got in, holding on a second too long, whispering, "It's been too long, Alicia, you look more beautiful each time." I laughed awkwardly. I told myself it was harmless, was just being friendly. The first few days went smoothly. I helped my mother-in-law in the kitchen, did some light chores, and took long walks around the neighborhood, but as the days passed, me became increasingly bold, started complimenting me in strange ways. "That dress hugs your body perfectly. You're too fine for just one man to have all to himself." Each time I'd laugh it off or pretend not to hear, but deep inside, I felt disgusted and trapped. One afternoon while my mother-in-law was out shopping, he insisted I sit with him in the living room to watch TV. I chose care, but he came and sat on the floor right beside it. He kept asking questions about Daniel, if he was treating me right. Our intimacy was still good. If I ever felt lonely, being married to a man who worked so much made my skin crawl. I stood up and said I needed to use the bathroom. Followed me with his eyes the entire way. That night after dinner, I washed, helping clear the table. My mother-in-law went upstairs early with a Hitachi, leaving me alone with him. As I wiped the kitchen counter, he came behind me. I could feel his presence too. Close his breath on my neck. "You smell so good, Alicia," he whispered. Froze. "Excuse me," I managed, still not turning around. "I said you smell good," he repeated, this time placing a hand lightly on my back. I jerked forward and turned around. "Quick lip, Elise. Don't do that, it's inappropriate." Raised his hands like he was surrendering. "I didn't mean anything. Just giving a compliment. You know you city girls take things too seriously." That night, I barely slept. The next morning at breakfast, he tried to act normal, but I caught him staring at my legs. As I sat at the dining table, he asked if I wanted to join him in the garden later. Hedekland. Later that day, while I was folding laundry in the guest room, Hyde walked in without knocking. "Oh, sorry, I didn't know you were in here." He saddling her by the door. "Well, I am," I responded firmly. He stepped closer. "Need help with the folding?" "No, thank you. I prefer doing it alone." He didn't move for a moment, then he smiled and walked out, closing the door behind him slowly. I called Daniel the next morning and told him vaguely that I didn't feel comfortable, but I didn't go into details. He didn't want to worry him or start family drama. He told me to cut the visit short if I needed to, but I tried to best wrong. I thought I could handle it. A few days later, my mother-in-law went to visit her sister for 2 nights. It was just me and him in the house. I thought about checking into a hotel, but I worried how that would look to the family the first night alone. I locked my bedroom door and pushed a chair against it. At 2:00 a.m., I heard a soft knock. "Alicia, are you okay?" I didn't answer. "Alicia, I thought I heard something. Are you crying?" I held my breath. "I'm going back to bed," he said eventually, but I stayed awake the rest of the night. The next morning, I packed my bags. I told him my friend in Atlanta had an emergency and needed me. He acted disappointed but didn't push a shame. "You're leaving early," I said with that same slimy smile. "I was enjoying your company. Maybe next time you come alone again we can really get to know each other." I said nothing. I got in the car and left. When I finally got them, I told Daniel everything. He was silent for a long time. Then he said he had always suspected his father of being a womanizer, but never imagined he would go that far with his own daughter-in-law. Daniel confronted his father. His parents haven't spoken to since it's been almost a year now, and though I sometimes feel guilty for how everything turned out, I also feel relieved. I chose to protect myself. Chesito, speak up if you've ever been in a situation like this or worse. Know that your safety comes first. Never feel ashamed for setting boundaries, for saying no, or for walking away like this video. If you believe women should always feel safe in their own families, comment below. Have you ever had to cut ties with family for your own peace? Share your story with us. Don't forget to subscribe. More real-life stories that open eyes and heal hearts.